I had this problem when I was a kid that I couldn't control my emotions. I was a sensitive and tender boy, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I think that's how boys should be, is they feel their feelings. But it wasn't safe or popular. It wasn't okay. Because I grew up in a fairly tough situation, and I got ridiculed and shamed, and then I put that on myself too. So I learned to suppress my emotions, and I would lash out, because it turned into anger, and I lashed out and misbehaved, and I was violent, and I did all kinds of stuff like that, which carried on for quite some time. But I had successfully pushed the tender part of me down deep, crammed into this place that was, I guess, safe. And out came the anger. And the anger created so many issues for me and destroyed so many relationships and got me into trouble, and created this distance between me and everybody else, that I learned too that didn't work. And I tried to push it down too and suppress it. And for the most part, I did that. It would ooze out the edges from time to time. But I became pretty good at feeling pretty numb. And I felt like I had successfully accomplished something, but I was no longer experiencing my emotions. They just weren't accessible to me. And that was good, because the expressions of my emotions were so unhealthy and dysfunctional that I was, creating this life that was horrible. It was horrible for me. It was horrible for the people around me. I wasn't in a functional relationship with people. But I knew something was missing. I knew that, I wanted to be able to feel. I wanted to be able to empathize. I wanted to be able to be happy. I couldn't even be happy anymore, which I guess is better than, being in this horrible state of anger and fear and, suppressing all my stuff, or being ridiculed because I was tender and felt my feelings, because I wasn't able to manage the experience of my feelings. So the inability to then express those feelings, it became an issue. And it was also an issue to feel my feelings, because I had become so good at not feeling them, and didn't have much experience with managing when they came up. So I had to start taking the lid off. I had to start kind of peeling the lid off of that, and it was terrifying. It was like, was it gonna like take over? Was it gonna swallow me up? Was it gonna, But I knew I had to. And I knew I had to learn. And I don't like learning. I don't like being a beginner. I don't like being a novice at something. But I had to. I had to. So what I learned that was a game changer, and I'm still learning this, I'm still doing this, is that I could feel any emotion and let it, live in me at whatever strength and intensity and power it did. And I didn't have to express anything. I didn't have to express anything unhealthy. I didn't have to, there was a way that I could create a gap, a much needed gap. And then I learned that no matter what intensity I brought up to that gap, like a fire break in a building, I could choose what level or what way or style I expressed what was going on in me. That actually was functional, that actually had me create deeper relationships rather than destroy them. So for a long time, I just figured I was destined to live this life of recklessness, of danger, of anger, and then that was just going to be what it was going to be for me. Because I felt powerless and hopeless, and I knew that when I expressed anger and felt that I felt some sense of power. But I had to choose to go against this. I had to go against like saying that, okay, this is what I've experienced in my childhood, so this is going to be my life forever. And it doesn't. It doesn't have to be that way. And I did a bunch of really destructive things as a kid and as a young man, but I took the risk and the courage to forgive myself, and to know that in spite of that, I deserved love and happiness, and that I could create peace in my life. So I know that each moment I have the option to live in balance, in congruence with the world and with those around me, without pushing it away or bringing it in or lashing out. And the other really big lesson here is I feared that I would no longer feel again. I really thought like it's gone. I've successfully eliminated that from my life. And now that I've found them, and I'm going to hold on to them. I'm going to hold on to that. And I think that's a good thing. So that's the difference between experiencing emotions and expressing them. And there's a big difference. So the Stoics, which I'm down with, these Stoic philosophy and principles, I think a lot of people get wrong, because I see a lot of people, following the Stoic philosophies, and I think that what they're trying to do is just to not feel at all. And maybe that's better for them if they're feeling their emotions and that has them wreaking havoc on the people around them or beating themselves up. But what I know is that if I'm feeling something, it's going to come out in some way. So I want to learn to manage, and I suggest people learn to manage feeling it at whatever level it does, and then choosing how I express and how I act, or if I need to act at all. So I got some questions for you, an opportunity. Where in your life are you stuffing your feelings and being numb? And when do your emotions come bursting out of you uncontrollably? What are situations where that happens? Who is it with? And what do you think would happen if you simply sat still with the intense emotions that you experience without expressing them in an unhealthy way?